For today's lesson, you will be learning about parallel structure. So what do you need to know about parallel structure? Alright, so the most essential learning competency targeted in this lesson is using parallel structure. So here are the objectives. So at the end of the lesson, at least 85% of the students are expected to define what is parallel structure, determine sentences that are parallel in structure, and tell the essence of learning parallel structure. Alright, can you see who's in the picture, class? Alright, so that's right. He is Detective Conan. Are you familiar with this anime series? Okay, so this is Detective Conan, that is about a teenage detective named Shinichi Kudo. So the story follows the high school detective, which is Shinichi, who was transformed into a child while investigating a mysterious organization and generally solve a multitude cases by impersonating his childhood best friends and various other characters in the story. So that was the story of Detective Conan. Now that you know him already, he wants you to help him to solve this case. So for today's lesson, you will be now a detective agent like Detective Conan. Alright, so we're in the case is all about a circle house murder. Okay, so you're going to help him to solve this case, which is entitled Circle House Murder. Okay, so let me read to you first the Circle House Murder case. So there was a man that lived in a circle house. So that man got murdered. So the police came. There were 3 suspects. So the cook, the mother, and the maid. So the police asked them each a question. Where were you when this happened? So the cook said, I made a recipe to cook and made juice to drink for dinner. And the mother said, I was folding, cutting, and sewing a clothes. And the maid said, I was busy in brushing laundry, washing dishes, and to clean all the corners of the house. So that was the answers of the 3 suspects to the police officer. Alright, so we have here the main clue to solve the case of the circle house murder. So which of the following sentences is not parallel? Okay, so these 3 sentences are the answers or the statement given by the 3 suspects and to the police officer. But before that, let's go back to this later and let's do the task first, which is to define parallel structure. Determine sentences that are parallel in structure and tell the essence of learning parallel structures. Alright, so I have here first the 2 sentences, which is sentence 1 and sentence 2. So Ryan is healthy, wealthy, and an athlete. For sentence number 2, Ryan is healthy, wealthy, and athletic. So which sentence is better? What do you think, class? Okay. Alright, so both sentences are grammatically correct, but sentence number 2 is much better. Why? Because it is in a parallel structure. So what is parallel structure? Okay, so what is parallel structure? A parallel structure, it involves 2 or more words, phrases, or clauses that are similar in length and grammatical form. Another word for parallel structure is parallelism. And it improves the readability by giving a natural flow to a written word. Alright, so that was parallel structure, or in other words, parallel structure means using the same pattern of words to show that 2 or more ideas have the same level of importance. So this can be happen at the word, phrases, or in a clauses level. Alright, so let's go back to the question on which sentence is much better. So as what we said a while ago, that sentence number 2 is much better because it uses parallel structure. Okay, so for the sentence number 2, we have Ryan is healthy, wealthy, and athletic. Okay, so it is in parallel structure. Why? Because the word healthy, wealthy, and athletic are all in the same pattern, which is in adjective form. While in sentence number 1 is not parallel. Why? Because the word healthy, wealthy, and athlete is not in the same pattern. Because the word wealthy and healthy are in the same pattern, which is in adjective, while the word athlete, it breaks the parallelism of the sentence because it is not adjective. It is in a noun, not parallel in structure. Okay, so let us now discuss the parallel structure with words and phrases. So the first one is gerund. So what is gerund? A gerund is a noun form of a verb that ends in ing, or it is also known as an ing form. For example, we have the word playing, dancing, and eating. Okay? So to use this in a sentence and determine the sentences in a parallel structure. So we have here an example. Mika likes traveling, camping, and to paint. So this sentence is not parallel. Why? Because the word traveling, camping, and to paint is not in the same pattern. Because the word traveling and camping is in the same pattern, which is in a gerund form, while the word to paint is not a gerund, because this is an infinitive form, so it breaks the parallelism of the sentence. So to make this sentence in a parallelism or in a parallel structure, we have to change the word to paint, which is an infinitive form, to transform this into an ing form. So we have to replace the word to paint into a gerund form, which is painting. So the parallel sentence here goes like this. Mika likes traveling, camping, and painting. So we have here another example. I like jogging, baking, painting, and to watch movies. So this sentence is not parallel because the word jogging, baking, painting, and to watch is not in the same pattern because the word to watch is also an infinitive form, while the other words, which is jogging, baking, and painting, are in a gerund form. So to make this in a parallel structure, we have to transform the word to watch, which is an infinitive form, into a gerund form, which is watching. So the parallel structure in this sentence is loose like this. I like jogging, painting, baking, and watching movies. Now, these words are now in the same pattern, which is in a gerund form. So that is in a gerund. Next is infinitive. So what is infinitive? Infinitive is usually begins with the word to and is followed by the base form of a verb. For examples, it includes to run, to read, to jump, to play, to sing, to laugh, to cry, to eat, and to go, and so on. So that was infinitive. So to determine sentences in a parallel structure with the use of infinitive form, so we have here an example. Jane likes to ski, to jog, and diving. So this sentence is not parallel. Why? Because the word to ski, to jog, and diving is not in the same pattern. Because the word diving it breaks the parallelism of the sentence because it is in a gerund form, while the word to ski and to jog are in the same pattern, in which is infinitive form. So to make this in parallel, we have to transform the word diving, which is in a gerund form, into an infinitive form, which is to dive. So the parallel sentence here goes like this. Jane likes to ski, to jog, and to dive. So here another example. I like to jog, to bake, to paint, and watching movies. So this sentence is not parallel because the word watching is not in infinitive form. It is in gerund form. So to make this parallel, we have to transform the word watching into infinitive form, which is to watch. So this sentence goes like this. To make it in parallel, I like to jog, to bake, to paint, and to watch movies. Now the sentence is now in the same pattern. So it is now in a parallel structure. Next is adjective. What is adjective? It is the words that are used to describe or modify nouns or pronouns. So for example, we have the red, quick, happy, and kind are adjectives because they can describe things. Like for example, with the use the word red. Red is an adjective, right? Because it modifies the word or the noun hat. A red hat, the quick rabbit, a happy duck, kind person. So that was now the adjective. So to determine the sentences in a parallel structure with the use of an adjective form, so here are the examples. Rhea is young, beautiful, and thinks maturely. So this is not parallel sentence because the word thinks maturely is not in an adjective form, while the word young and beautiful are the same pattern, which is in adjective form. So to make this in parallel, we have to change or transform the word thinks maturely into an adjective form. So the sentence, to make it in parallel, goes like this. Rhea is young, beautiful, and mature. So the word thinks maturely, which is an adverb, it transforms into a word mature, which is now in an adjective, right? Next is we have the word noun. So what is noun? It is a word that refers to a thing. For example, we have a book, a person. For example, we have the name of a person, which is Betty Crocker. An animal, which is cat. A place like Omaha. A quality, like example, softness. An idea like justice, or an action like yodeling. So it's usually a single word, but not always. Like cake, shoes, school bus, and time and a half are all nouns. So to determine the sentence in parallel structure with the use of nouns, so here are the example. John studying music, dance, and how to make an art. So this sentence is not parallel. Why? Because the word music, dance is in a noun form, while the word to make an art or an art is not in a parallel structure. It breaks the parallelism of the sentence. So to make it better or in a parallel structure, the sentence goes like this. John studying music, dance, and art. That was a noun. Next is we have the word verb. Verb is the action or a state of being in a sentence. Verbs can be expressed in different tenses, depending on when the action is being performed. So here are some examples. Jennifer walked to the store. So in the sentence, walk is the verb that shows an action, right? But the word walk is in the past tense. Alright, so to make this clear, we have here an example to determine the sentence in parallel structure. She wrote a letter and mails it to the school. So this sentence is not parallel. Why? Because it is not consistent in verb tenses, because the word wrote is in the past tense, while the word mails is in the present tense. So to make it better, we have to be consistent in terms of a verb tense. So the word wrote is in the past tense, so we have to transform the word mails, which is in the present tense, into a past form, which is the word mailed. So to make it better, the sentence goes like this. She wrote a letter and mailed it to the school. Right, so that was verb. Okay, now let's summarize the lesson. When we say parallel structure or parallelism, is the repetition of a chosen grammatical form within a sentence, and it allows a writer to achieve a sense of rhythm and order. Alright, so I have here an activity. Which word among the following has a different grammatical form? So the words are dig, cook, dance, singing. Which of the word among the following has the different grammatical form? If your answer is the word singing, you're correct, because the word singing is in a gerund form, while the word dig, cook, and dance are in a basic form of a verb word. Yun. So this sentence should be in a parallel structure. So it should be like this: dig, cook, dance, and sing. For the second example, which word among the following has a different grammatical form? So these words are lack, ate, took, look, waits, run. If your answer is the word waits, you're correct. Why? Because it breaks a parallelism of the words, because the words lack, ate, took, look, and run are all in the past tense. Okay? But the word wait is in the present tense. So to make it better, the word should be like this: lack, ate, took, look, waited, and run. Now they are in a parallelism because it uses the same pattern of grammatical form. Which word among the following has a different grammatical form? Beautiful, simple, intelligent, actively, and lazy. So if your answer is the word actively, now you're correct. Why? Because the word actively is an adverb, but the other words are in an adjective form. So to make it better, so the word should be like this: beautiful, simple, intelligent, active, and lazy. Alright, so let's go back to the main clue. If you really understood, or if you really understand now the word parallel structure, now we should, in here, if we've got the correct sentence which is not parallel, we can figure out now who is the culprit in the murder case. So this sentence are given by the three defendants, which is the cook, the mother, and the maid. So which of the following sentences is not parallel? What do you think, class? It was the third sentences. Why? Because it was given by the maid. So the culprit of the case, or in the murder case, is not the other one. Is not the other, which is not the other, but the maid. Why? Because based on the sentence that the maid was given, she said that I was busy in brushing. She said, I was busy in brushing, laundry, washing dishes, and to clean all the corners of the house, which is not parallel sentence. Why? Because the word brushing, washing are all in the same pattern, which is in a gerund form, while the word to clean is in infinitive form. So that was the statement given by the maid, which is the truly culprit in the murder case. Now that we know who is the culprit in the murder case, Detective Conan also found out another clue. So the Detective Conan also found out that the killer is none other than but the maid. Why? The maid did it because there are no corners in a circle house. So you made it perfectly. Okay, so thank you, graded students, for your participation and for helping me to solve this murder case. So that was said by Detective Conan. So that was all for today. I hope you've learned a lot about the lessons that we have, which is the parallelism or the parallel structure. Thank you for your watching and listening. See you in next video.